Hello, welcome to Real Magic Review. Today I'm going to be talking about the Frankenstein book test by Kaleb Wade. Before I do this review, I'd like you to deeply consider having a look at onlinemagic.co. Go and have a look at it. Don't cost you anything to have a look, does it? Have a look at it now. Why don't you? Press pause, off you go, come back, or look at it afterwards. Loads of people love it. You will too. It's worth your money, whatever level you're at, and you can quit if you don't like it. Super easy to do, and you don't have to sign up for like a year or anything like that. So that's onlinemagic.co. With that, let's talk about this. Now, this book test, it's funny with book tests, isn't it? I've always been one of those people, because I'm now getting quite into performing mentalism. I've been performing a lot more of it on cruise ships, in my show, and overcoming, which I'm going to do a separate video of, this fear of mentalism I have, and I now realise a lot of people have. It's a really nerve-wracking thing to do, weirdly enough, because physically a lot of it's quite easy. Obviously not easy to perform. It takes, you know, practice and rehearsal, and it's a different kind of practice, but it's something that, yeah, I've always been super nervous about. And when I do it, I really, really enjoy it, and the responses have been very, very strong since I've been doing more sort of billet work and book test stuff, and this is no exception. I did this the other day, and as I was walking away, I heard someone say, "Oh, I reckon every word in the book was the same." And I thought, I think you would have noticed. If that was a dodgy book, you wouldn't be holding it. Just say stop.
Stop.
If you're not happy, are you happy there?
Yeah.
Okay, and have a look at this first word. Look for an interesting word on either page, like 8 letters or more, all right? 8 letters or more, a good juicy one, because it makes it a lot nicer. And when you've got a word, don't tell me what the word is, but just tell me you've got a word in your head. Focus on the first letter of your word. It's an S.
S.
S for sugar. What was the first letter?
My first.
Yeah.
F.
F. Oh, that's what it was, S and F, because I've got a list, but it sounds the same. But yours was F, S.
Yeah.
Ah, that's what I was thinking.
Oh, sorry.
F and S for me always sounds the same when I say it. That's why I hear it. Oh, so you've got an S, right?
Wow.
You've thought about the whole word. Yours is spacer.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And you've got a word that you've just picked. You may have even looked at different ones and changed your mind.
No, I didn't.
You got
Oh,
one.
yes, I did look at.
You did. Right. Okay.
Yes, I did.
Got an S at the end. It's got 2 S's at the end. It's got another F. It's got 2 F's in it. It's got one near the middle. Is it fearfulness?
Yeah.
So I've performed the end Angelo Carboni's book test many times now. It's a great. I love it. Super strong. I've got Mark Chandel's book test. I have not learnt that to review yet, because remember, I learn everything, and it takes me a while to learn some things when memory's involved. So I can go and perform it. So I took this on, and sorry, I finished what I was saying. Mark Chandler, they all do sort of, and No Quarter had a great one that I used loads, and then before that I used one of the originals, not the originals, but back in the day that everybody was doing was Larry Becker's Final Flashback, which is great. They're all brilliant, and there's loads of really nice gimmickless ones. And I think it's easy to say, why do we need any more? I suppose it's the same with anything. They all kind of feel different to perform, and the subtle differences do make a big difference. Having performed a few of them, I like them for different reasons. And this has some really great stuff built into it. And I will say before I forget, it's less expensive than a lot of book tests as well, and no worse for it. I think this is really strong. So the thing you can do with this is take the book off me, open the book, find any interesting long word, 8 letters or more. You got one, and you get the word. But you've also got the flashback principle, which is tell me when to stop. Right, you happy there? If you're not, I'll go to a different page. Or don't you think I've stopped? Right, no, are you sure? Right, look at the first word on that page, and you get that. And those of us in the game, not on the game, in the game, it's easy for us to go, well, if they're saying where to stop, why wouldn't they just take book off me and choose it, all that sort of stuff. None of that matters because this has been performed now loads on a cruise ship, and every time it was super, 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 super strong. Nobody questioned that. And the fact you can sort of go, right, do you want to go a few more pages or just do it again? So you do it again. Actually, no, take the book off me. All that. So they end up doing that anyway. The responses are just stunning. And I love that because it's, again, I've got all this guilt in me going, I'm going to think the book's dodgy. And interestingly, Kaleb's got some really good arguments. The book that you get with this, the instructions, basically have some really nice, loads of great ways of performing it. And he's got an added way that you now get as well, that he'll send you the details to, which is another way of presenting this, which is brilliant. So loads of good ways of doing this. But his arguments are, you know, A, and there's more to this, by the way, I'm going to butcher it, but you know, it is totally fine to do a book testing close up. Why would you be walking around with a book? Well, why would you be walking around with a deck of cards? It makes total sense. Nobody questions it. It's brilliant, and nobody at all did any of that stuff. But with this, they can look at it. They can take the book and you can have a good look through it. And you might say, don't run while you're not being chased, or whatever the saying is, which we all hear a lot. And I'm of the same opinion that Kaleb is as well, is that actually these days people might say it's a dodgy book. People know a lot more now. They do want to see that the cards are normal because loads of people know about tapered decks. They know about stripper decks, which is the same thing I know. They know about Svengalis because it's just a lot more out there now. So I think it does make a difference. And as he says, I've said a similar thing. I said, do have a look at it because I walked away from, my script was, I walked away from something the other day and they said, I bet every word was the same in there, which is, and they always laugh because that would be so preposterous. And I go, well, do have a check. It's all above board and it's Frankenstein. It's a great book. And they could have a good old rummage through it and then do it, and they can have a look at it afterwards as well. It's great. He's built stuff into this which at first may seem limiting, but actually isn't in any way, and makes it more examinable. And the flashback principle has an added thing to it, which means they can have a good look at that as well, and they're not going to see anything. It's really strong. It's easy. The presentation I did to get what I need to get with, you know, the flashback, the second flashback, and the have a look at a long word, was just the exact scripting he gave me, and it just hit every single time. It's a beautiful thing, and I think it's small, it's thin, it's a known book, the cover looks great, there's a few things added into there, and there's way more than you think to this lovely book test, and the instructions are a bit of a masterclass in how to get the information you need to get and make it look like you haven't got that information, if you see what I mean. Loved it. It's part of my work now, as is the end in different contexts. I look forward to getting onto Marks, but I really recommend this. It's £60 at the moment. It's an absolute bargain. It's going to give you, sometimes I spent 5, 6, 7 minutes with this, sitting with people, and they absolutely loved it. So get amongst it. Use the links below if you're interested. That's Frankenstein book test. There's way more to say, but I don't give you everything. But you'll be very happy with your purchase if you go ahead and buy it. And I'm not affiliated whatsoever. All right, take care. Have a good one. See you later. Have a look at onlinemagic.co. Cheers.